time a year ago. How do you feel mentally, physically, as we get ready to open the season?
I feel really good, man. Mentally, I feel really good. I feel like my head's in a good spot right now. Physically, my body feel 100% healthy. I feel good, man. No, I feel ready to go, sir.
DJ, it was a dogfight last year with Tech. What do you remember about that game?
It was one thing I remember. We had that lightning delay. It was a crazy. It was definitely like a crazy game, different game with that. But it definitely was a super physical game. I was probably like one of my most physical games where I came out of the game feeling super just like, man, I just played a really tough game. But it was just a physical game, man. And it was the dogfight, like you said. A lot of great plays. I mean, there was small errors in that game. You had to be able to be on your P's and Q's that game. But it was a good game, man. Georgia Tech, they came out and they played an amazing game.
You had that run on 3rd and 14 in the fourth quarter that set up the game-winning touchdown. Was that one of your better plays of the season, you think?
Yeah, I think definitely running the ball wise. That's definitely one of my better runs during the season, especially in the time of the game it was and how much it mattered. It definitely was, yes, sir.
You spent a lot of time dealing with frustration last year. You spent a lot of the offseason talking about ways to make it better. Does this game feel like been a long time coming and you're really looking forward to going and kind of proving everybody wrong or proving yourself right? Or do you need to try to let this be the next game and not overthink like what it's meant after a year of getting through all that?
I think I'm definitely excited. Definitely excited coming in this game. Just excited to get into the season. And it's been a long off season of playing against the same opponent every single day in practice. So I'm excited to go against a new opponent with Georgia Tech. And just coming into the season, man, I'm just excited for game one, man. I'm just excited to go out there. All the hard work I put in the off season, the summer, spring, I'm just excited to go out there and display it in the first game.
What's it like watching some of this film back? Like, obviously, you're preparing for Georgia Tech. Part of that film study is going to be your game last year against them. What's it like watching that back and maybe seeing, coordinators have talked about the fundamentals that maybe have just improved or have improved quite a bit this year. What's it like for you to watch that back?
Oh, yeah, definitely. Watching the game back, I mean, there's definitely a lot of mistakes that I wish I would have done better. And fundamental-wise, just different plays in the game, decision-making, going back on it. And, I mean, it's always good to watch, see the different mistakes. Also see the stuff that you did good in the game. There's a lot of stuff I did good. I thought I did good in the game. And there's also things that I messed up on. But I think that's just part of every single game. You always go see the good. You always go see the bad. So I think just learning from it and just going to it and just thinking about it, like, there's different ways I can get better from it and just applying it to the practice field.
How different do you see yourself, though, when you're watching that film versus maybe some of your practice film that you're watching now? Do you still feel like you look like the same quarterback but with tighter fundamentals, or do you see a kind of a totally different guy out there now?
I think I see a totally different guy. I think a guy that's a lot better than from the last game, Georgia Tech, someone that's gone through it, and someone who's gotten a lot better throughout the off season, through all the hard work I put in. I definitely see a different quarterback. Yes, ma'am.
We've heard from a lot of different people about the different areas across the offense that have put in a lot of work and improved or made some tweaks or made some changes. It's not just you that has made these leaps and bounds. Can you speak to the quality of the offense and where you guys are now heading into week one versus where you were last year, whether that's mentality, mindset, maturity, whatever it is that stands out to you?
I think like you said, I think not just me, but I think everyone on this whole team, not just offense, defense, we all put in the work this summer, this spring. We've all tried to get better and definitely gotten better on the offensive side of the ball. And I think, like you're talking about from a year ago, I thought we were in a really good place from a year ago, and then I look back now and it's a totally different thing. Like, wow, I thought last year was good, and we're in a good spot mentally, physically, but I think this year it's in a totally upward direction and where it's even better from last year. And I think that comes to the maturity of the team on offense, even in defense as well. I think there's a different level of maturity on the team and a different level of just knowing that each and every day counts and how much each and every day matters, and this lift matters, that this run matters, that this conditioning, this sprint, and it just matters. Each and every day matters coming into the first game. I think that was the big part.
We just talked to your new center. How much of the chemistry have you built with Will on the field, and what's your relationship with him off the field?
Will, man, he's a super cool dude, man. He's a good guy. First and foremost, he's an unbelievable athlete, great player as a center, but he's an even better person. He's just a cool dude. I mean, I hang out with him off the field, along with other linemen, but he's just a cool guy to hang out with. I mean, he's a funny guy, has a big personality. And then on the field, he's a smart player, physical guy. He knows exactly what he needs to do, and he's a good leader for the offensive line, being that center. You also have J-Mac as well, but being that center, he's real vocal. He knows exactly what to do out there, and he does a really good job around the offense and around his offensive linemen as well.
You've not wanted to make any excuses for the way things might have gone offensively last year. You've taken the heat for a lot of it. What has it meant to see the way other people have stuck up for you on your team, and Dabo in particular have kind of had your back throughout all of this?
Yeah, no, I'm unbelievably thankful for all the teammates, and especially Coach Sweeney that stood behind my back, stood behind me and supported me through it all. And I appreciate them, man. You know, I think I just appreciate them for all they're done, like sticking up for me and representing me. I appreciate that a lot. It means a lot to me.
Was there a low point for you last year, or a point where you kind of look back and you think like, all right, we're not going to get back to that again. We're moving, and kind of almost like a metric of how far you've come since then?
I think, I don't know if there's a certain point, but I think definitely, looking at where I'm at right now, definitely how I feel, like a lot better than I was feeling during the season, obviously, but I think I'm just ready to go out to game one, just come out and show the world is what I've been working on. Just come out and just come ready to play.
Does it feel like you've sort of got this like secret weapon that you've been hiding under like a blanket for the last 6 months or whatever? And you're really like exactly what you said, like looking forward to show people what you've been doing.
Yeah, maybe a little bit, but I'm just excited to play, man. You know, I'm just excited to get back out there, play another game, and just be excited to be with my teammates, man. I'm just excited to share the field with them. We've all put in a lot of work this offseason. We all built a lot of chemistry, receivers, quarterbacks, running backs, tight ends, offensive linemen, and running backs. This has been good, so I think we're just all excited to get out there game one and show everybody who we are this year.
As prepared as you are, you've played enough college football to know everything's not going to go perfect. Even with all of the progress, have you maybe learned a little bit about how to handle that adversity in game a little bit differently, or anything there?
Yeah, I think like you said, every game is not gonna go 100%. There's always gonna be a mistake made. We're trying to limit those mistakes, but I think going into the season, I think everyone knows that if a mistake does happen, how we're going to respond to it. I think we know how to respond from it better than we did last year, and then just try to limit those mistakes. We always know those are going to happen, but I think coming this year, I think we have a different perspective of it.
People rave about your leadership and how that locker room stands behind you and alongside you.
Mm-hmm.
How have you even grown as a leader over this last year, and what sort of importance do you put in being a representative for those guys in that locker room?
I definitely think I've grown a lot from it, especially from last year, the spring, summer, but I think I've grown a lot from like the appreciation and just knowing like when you're down at your lowest or it's not going as well, how to still be a leader in those times. I think that was one thing that I learned, big thing I learned from last year, is like when things are going good, you still got to be able to be a leader. You can't always be everyone can be a leader when you're doing great. You're doing great, you have great stats, you're playing an amazing game, but the hardest part about being as leader is when you're down and you're not playing as good as you want to. I think that's what taught me a lot about being a leader. I think that's helped me a lot coming into this season.
You've lost a couple of young receivers to injury in the spring and summer, but definitely a more complete core of wide receivers than you had at the end of last season. How good is it going to feel just to step on that field and have those guys to throw to?
Definitely. It's going to be exciting. You know, we have a really deep receiving room, even when guys hurt, but we have a great team, great receivers, so I'm excited, man. Those guys are going to make plays on Monday night. We're going to have a great week of practice. I'm excited to see them play.
Got some tight ends, too, this year.
Definitely.
How excited are you about – I'm personally expecting to see a lot of tight ends, just with who your coordinator is and that. Can we expect that? What do you make of that group?
Tight ends, yeah, 100% expect that. I think tight ends are a really special group. We have a lot of special tight ends there, and I think it's one of our deepest rooms that we have on the offense, and they're going to do a lot of great things. They're going to block, they're going to run, they're going to catch the ball, and they're going to make a lot of plays, so I'm excited to see them as well.
Any questions for DJ from Zoom? Anybody else in the room?
DJ, coach is really big on everybody picking out a word. Just interested. What's your word and why?
That is true. I hadn't really had a word. I was thinking about it for a while. I know I talked with my boy Milt. I kind of came up with a saying to myself. Instead of like one word, kind of had a saying coming into the season. And that saying is just roll the dice.
What's that mean to you?
To me, it's kind of like just rolling the dice. For me, lot of people that roll the dice. For me, it's kind of like in the sense of like just taking chances on yourself, you know. Like no matter what people say, I'm gonna roll the dice no matter what. And I'm always gonna bet on myself. So that's kind of what the same means to me. Just roll the dice.
Anybody else? All right. Thanks, DJ.
Appreciate it.
Appreciate it.